Oh, hey guys. It's one of your hosts, that beard guy, Thomas. Just wanted to do a little introduction here for you guys so you kind of have an idea what's going on. Uh, this is our first podcast under the new name Geek Ronin. We won't really get into the details of why we're not We The Geek anymore, but it doesn't really matter. What does matter is we are back, and we are ready to fucking go, and I hope you guys are ready to go too. Um, this podcast is now officially brought to you in part by Inbeon Studios. You can check them out at inbeon.com, INBEON.com. They do web hosting, they do graphic design, and they put out some really freaking cool comic books, and they're starting to get into animation. So you really want to check those guys out. They're going to be at New York Comic Con this year, right on the main floor, and they will also be at uh, their flagship convention, InBeonCon, which is also what's helping bring this wonderful podcast to you guys. Check that out at inbeoncon.com, INBEONCON.com. You can contact either Danny or Lawrence or Guy about getting a spot at the table or tickets. Uh, so it's a really awesome show. I went last year for the first time, and it was probably one of the cooler experiences I've ever had at a convention. If you've ever been to a convention, it's essentially Artist Alley, but that's the whole convention is Artist Alley. So you get to see all the cool artists, and uh, it's not just a drawing and sketching. They have weapon makers, they have glass blowers, they have video games, they have cosplay. Like, it's the whole shebang. So you guys definitely should go check that out. It's inbeoncon.com, INBEONCON.com, and inbeon.com, INBEON.com. And it's also brought to you by us motherfuckers at Geek Ronin. We're happy to be back, and this week, the music is going to be from a little band called The Floating Lighthouse, which I'm actually a part of. The tune is called Midnight Blues, and it is from the first album that we put out probably about 10 years ago. And I hope that you guys enjoy the music. So enjoy. It's a lengthy podcast for you guys, so enjoy. And we'll see you guys hopefully again soon. The podcast formerly known as We The Geek, we go by a symbol now. It's an unpronounceable name.
It's like
It's
the
like-
former
yeah, it's
artist
like-
formerly known as Prince.
Exactly, it's like Prince.
It's like we're in parentheses.
Yeah, we're the podcast formerly known as We The Geek. We are back, which is so nice to say.
Yeah, for real.
It's so nice to say it.
And it's
What's our
it's
name?
So
What are we
too.
called?
We're called. We are Geek Ronin, which I thought was fairly appropriate because we're a bunch of geeks and we no longer have a master.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cracking the whip, as it were. But yeah, Danny is not going to be joining us this evening. Unfortunately, he's going through some personal stuff, and we hope everything works out for the guy. But the show must go on. It hasn't gone on for like the last month, at least. So fuck. There's been so much shit that we
Almost a
haven't.
little bit more.
Yeah, probably a little bit more than a
missed
month.
A lot of stuff.
It's been
So much happening.
It's been a while.
Yeah. So many things have happened. The Titanic is still there.
Yeah, I know, right? That's fucked.
Leonardo
Wonder Woman.
DiCaprio.
We never got to talk about Wonder Woman, and that was a month ago.
Oh,
Over a month ago. We never got to talk about Wonder Woman.
but-
The show
yeah.
that I was coming back on was when we left. So
Oh well, yeah. So like a month and like a week, I want to say.
yeah,
So
like 5 weeks. It's
Wonder
been like
Woman,
5
yeah.
weeks. That's some crazy
So-
shit. We never
That,
got
it
to.
feels like a long ass 5 weeks though. Like
Yeah,
so
it was
much shit
terrible.
happened.
It
So
hurt
for
me.
anyone who's listening, if they hear any spoilers tonight, it's their fault because it's been a month and we're gonna talk about it.
Right?
So
Same with like we haven't got to talk Wonder Woman. We definitely need to talk Spider-Man. There's so much shit going on. Like, I want to talk a little bit about the Disney casting and how much I think everyone crying is a bunch of bullshit. I most definitely want to talk about how the new Doctor Who is going to be a fucking woman and how excited I am about this prospect. And the fact that potentially either the next or one of the future James Bonds is going to be a woman, which I'm also super fucking excited
Yeah,
about.
Wow,
that.
it went from
So it went from Daniel Craig getting the role again, and then now, like,
Well, I think he
there's
signed up
talk
for like the
that
next movie. I don't know if he's going to go beyond the next movie.
I feel like he's signed up for the next movie, but he's not gonna like live throughout the next movie. That's calling it right now. First episode of Geek Ronin, I'm calling that Daniel Craig dies in the next 007 movie
Yeah.
to give the mantle to someone else.
Wasn't there a rumor that it, like in between the last James Bond and this time that it was possibly going to be a black James Bond, like Idris Elba, or am I just making this up?
It would have been amazing. I totally
Well,
would have been down for that.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was a rumor. I think it was more so like a fan casting kind of thing where do you want Idris Elba?
Because
And
black male to white woman is very off target, and not.
Actually, we almost did it. We almost did it.
I'm just saying,
We got close.
like for people to go, oh, we want a black guy, and then to have a white woman, it's a hit off the mark. But if it's not that it was supposed to be,
Watch our election year last year. We almost had that. We almost went. No, all right.
Oh,
yeah,
last year I really wanted. I wanted to see Idris Elba.
2000 and late.
I wanted to see Elba as the next Bond. But I'll take a fucking kick-ass British woman. They haven't casted anybody. They're just saying that either the next one or one of the Bonds in the future is going to be played by a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's one of those deals.
Who would be your pick if you want to see a British woman do James? What would their name be, right? Janine Bond, Jane Doe Bond,
Jane Bond.
You could still say James.
I guess you could, right? I'm just being sexist, I suppose.
Or
you could say
Jamie?
James because
or Jamie.
Well, or you could just go with James, and she could go by Jamie or James.
Oh
She could still go by James because I mean, look, Firefly had Jane. Jane was a man.
Okay.
True.
Okay.
I went to high school with a guy named Ashley.
Exactly.
Nice.
So as far as I'm concerned, she could still be James Bond.
It's got to be, and the song's got to be "Jamie's Got a Gun" by Aerosmith. That's what it's got to be.
I think it's Janie.
Nicely done.
I thought it was Janie's Got a Gun, not Jamie.
This time it's gonna be.
No, you're thinking of. You're thinking of.
That's not another teen movie.
Yes, not a teen movie.
Jamie's got a gun. Oh my God, Jamie's got a gun. Oh, so who would I cast?
Yeah, who would you cast? Mr. Thomas the Beard LaPierre.
Oh, fuck. I mean...
I enjoyed that.
I know, right? I think everybody enjoys that.
Amelia Clark.
Okay.
I could see Amelia. You know what would be even cool? I would think, I think Sophie Turner or Maisie Williams could probably do it too.
Mm.
I would want to see them. I could see Maisie more as the Doctor than I can see her as a 007.
I could see Sophie doing it. I think she could definitely play a serious.
Or, as a matter of fact, I would rather see Maisie be the Q.
Oh, be Q?
I think she would be like, because she has enough like quips and humor about herself.
I could see that.
I actually genuinely love this Q and hope he stays forever because he's been amazing. Actually, we were talking about
John Cleese.
He's so fucking funny and just so like he doesn't take shit from fucking James, so it's more like try not to break this one, try to return this car in one piece. And he's like, no, it's not gonna happen. I know it's not gonna happen, but at least I said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that was the way that the old Q was for sure.
Yeah.
But
okay.
But
I don't know.
He has enough youth and like where it's not like I feel like the old Qs are always like
there was only one other Q. There's only one other Q.
I'm saying the
original Q was the Q for every fucking movie until Cleese took over.
The same actor, you mean?
Same actor. It was the same man who played Q throughout the entirety of the James Bond series until Cleese took over.
What?
Same guy.
Wow.
Same guy.
Say,
that's why it was such a big deal when they had a new Q, because no one had ever been Q except for that one actor, and he left, and I think like 6 months later he died. Like he worked right up until the end of his life
Right.
as Q. Like that's fucking dedication right there. But who would I cast? I mean,
What about Natalie Dormer? Am I saying her name wrong? Right? Marjorie?
yeah, I think we're pulling a little too much from fucking just straight up Game of Thrones.
Was his name Desmond
they
Julian?
have the cornucopia of fucking British actors and shit at this point.
Yeah.
And
Maybe like Lena Henley like 20 years ago.
Let's be honest, all of them are pretty badass on the show for the most part.
Right? I'd say like Lena Henley like 20 years ago.
Well,
Okay, I can see where you do that. Why you do it.
Can I throw a left fielder?
Oh, throw it.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Ooh. Helena Bonham Carter.
Bellatrix.
Oh wow, yeah.
Or even Emma Watson, because she was in Beauty and the Beast, and she's been a pretty big actor recently. So.
Ooh, Emma Watson is fucking James Bond?
Yeah.
I can see that. It would be like a very different take on it.
Now the question would be, would they keep Moneypenny as a man or as a woman, or change the gender to a man?
Hey, if they keep her as a woman and then do like
we've had both
LBGT
right?
like things in it.
There's been a bunch of different Moneypennies, but it's always been a woman because it's always been a male James Bond.
But so they should keep her the same, keep it a woman, and do some LBGT.
What was Ralph Rupert Fiennes' role?
Ralph Fiennes?
Remember in the last movie he became the new mom or something? M.
Yeah, it took over for Judi Dench.
Right.
So she's the head of MI6.
So
we need a new M. We would need let's go the whole casting. We need a new M, Moneypenny, Q, and 007.
I don't know if I would want to switch over Q, because I mean Cleese is just fucking on. But you're right, if we had to totally recast all of the major roles, sure. So I'm seeing for M, I would.
Are we going for diverse too, or are we
go for whatever?
Absolutely.
Cool.
For M, I'm saying Sir Ian McKellen. I think he'd be an awesome M.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think as a Q, if we're going with Q, I think Ricky Gervais would be a fucking awesome Q.
Okay. He's a hit or miss for me, but okay. I'm with you.
I see what you did there. The only reason why it depends on how young the because I'm not always a fan of like Q being that much older, and now that Q is younger than Bond.
Well, yeah, but Ricky Gervais is like in his 40s or 50s.
Yeah, he's up there.
Right.
He's not that old. It's not like having an 80-year-old.
Let's say we potentially cast someone who's like 20 as a new Bond.
So that means that it would be sort of the same idea as it was in the original Bond, where Q's sort of a father figure, almost, to Bond. So they have a really back and forth banter like that.
Yeah.
He treats him sort of like his fucking wayward son. Like, now, come on, James, quit playing around with that stuff. We need to get through all this shit. Like that sort of deal. And like I said, this is just off the top of my head because I hadn't thought about doing something like this. But, so, like, Ian McKellen as M, we'll go with Gervais as Q. Either Gervais or we could have... Oh, fuck. There's a wicked funny female Brit. I can't fucking remember her name.
Is she a comedian or an actress?
Comedian.
British comedian.
Female. I'm looking it up right now.
Nah. I don't know.
We're usually good with that. I never remember a lot of their names.
Oh, Catherine Tate. Catherine Tate?
Is it Catherine Tate? I think
she's a redhead?
Catherine Tate. I'm looking up a better picture. Yes, Catherine Tate. She's from Doctor Who. She's from Doctor Who. She was a companion in the David Tennant years.
She was.
Yes, her as Q. I think she'd be fucking hilarious.
I don't think I've ever seen her really.
She
Well, mostly because
was the companion.
because I'm not a Whovian.
Yeah, she was the companion after Rose.
But she's a
Okay.
sketch comedy person. So
Yeah, she does like Fabulous, and she's really good. She's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, she's very funny.
She's great. So
who's the younger girl? Who's the redhead? Who's like a Scot? She's really cute and cool and funny. What's her? She's like she was the newer assistant of the doctor, also a redhead.
oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't.
Skinny girl.
I
Yeah.
know exactly who you're talking about. I can't remember her name.
Billie Piper? Or Karen Gillan?
That sounds right.
Yeah, that might be her. Yeah, so we'll go with Catherine Tate as Q.
Yeah, Gillian.
As Moneypenny. You know what? I'm gonna pull a total fucking female Ghostbusters. I think Chris Hemsworth would be a great fucking Moneypenny.
Okay.
Ooh.
Because it's man candy, as
Yeah.
opposed
But
to.
he's also very Australian.
He's also very Australian.
This is true. This is true.
But we said no rules for casting. So
Yeah,
Okay,
this is
all
true. We're not going straight British, but I mean, if we were gonna go straight British, then maybe more of a
it's hard.
I know. I want to say Michael Fassbender, but he's not British technically.
He's not British, no.
No.
But the
What about
guy
that
who
kid-
the
that
guy
guy,
who plays
Dan-
Professor X is British.
No, he's not. He's Scottish.
Are you serious?
Yep. Him and,
Well, I mean, all right. If we're gonna play that game, you know.
I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm
Yeah,
not
you
trying
are
to be
being-
that
no.
guy. I know.
What I'm throwing
No,
out there is,
seriously.
it doesn't need to be all British because there has been Scottish and Irish fucking James Bonds.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna stick with Chris Hemsworth, and if we need to stick to the British Isles, then I'm gonna go probably with if only Ewan McGregor was like 10 years younger.
For which role? I
For
see him.
Moneypenny.
I see him ideally. No, I would see him more as a Q, personally.
Maybe. Who's a strapping young British actor?
Maybe that.
Oh, Daniel Radcliffe. Boom. Daniel Radcliffe as.
Really?
Yeah.
I was gonna go with that guy from Beauty and the Beast, but he's also from Legion. What's his name? Dan Stevens.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want in your casting. I'm just going with what I have in my
Yeah,
head.
Lawrence. You can do whatever you want in your casting.
I'm thinking Daniel Radcliffe. I'm thinking Daniel Radcliffe because he's got the name, and it's something totally different, and it's something that's small because Moneypenny's not a huge part. It's a bit part, but it's a big part at the same time. Like Moneypenny's not a huge part of it, and it would be cool to sort of see Daniel Radcliffe in something a little bit different. Although I will say, despite whatever anyone will say about Daniel Radcliffe, he actually is a very good actor. Swiss Army Man was fucking hilarious. He was great in that movie.
Yes, he was, and the other guy was hilarious.
Oh,
I still haven't seen it yet.
They were both fucking
completely
spectacular.
missed it, and I heard it was really funny.
Watch
it. And then for Bond, as a lady, I would still would have to go with Sophie Turner. I think Sophie Turner would be good.
Who's Sophie Turner?
She's Sansa Stark in Game of Thrones. I think it would be a total departure from the very fragile, like medieval woman type of trope that she's been playing. I'd like to see her kick some ass and take some names. You know what I'm saying? And she could have her natural. She has like baby blonde hair too, so it would be totally a total different look.
Mm-hmm.
But that's who I would go with. I'd say McKellen as M, Catherine Tate as Q, Daniel Radcliffe as Moneypenny, and Sophie Turner as James Bond. If we were recasting everything, that'd be my pick. What about you guys here? We'll go with Guy first. Guy. Not hearing you at all.
Hey, the oldest guy is Q, right?
Yeah. Well,
Gary Oldman. as Q.
Oh, okay.
M. Not Ian McGregor, the other guy, the Scott guy from the Professor X. What's his name?
James.
McAvoy?
So you want to switch him around because the head guy is M and the tech guy is Q.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, I do want to switch them around.
Yeah. So you want to do who's M?
McGregor.
Ewan
McCoy.
McGregor. Ewan McGregor.
No. The guy who played Professor X. The young Professor
That's
X.
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy as the
James-
tech guy.
As a tech guy. So James McAvoy is Q, and then
Yeah,
Ewan McGregor as M.
No, Gary Oldman as
Gary Oldman as M. All right, cool.
Yeah, Gary Oldman, and then James Bond, James or Jamie or Janie, whichever name we're going with.
007.
Helena.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, Helena
Alright.
Bonham Carter, and then who was the last person?
You need Moneypenny.
Moneypenny. I would like to see. What's that person's name? It's a British actress. I'm also gonna say a girl for this one.
Cool.
What's her name? Emma Watson.
Oh, Emma Watson
Yeah.
as Moneypenny.
Okay.
Right on. All right, what do you got, Law?
That's my favorite. What do you got, Law?
I'm going for. I kind of want M to be an older guy and be Bob Hoskins.
Who the
Okay.
is that?
Bob Hoskins?
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. He was the head elf in Elf.
Yes.
Oh, he's funny. He's cool.
Was
Isn't he in a Bond movie though?
he?
I don't know. I'll check out. You keep going with your thing. I'll check on it.
For my Q, I was going to go with Ruth Wilson, who is in Luther. For my, who do I need? A Moneypenny, right?
Yeah, Moneypenny.
Moneypenny, I need a. Who?
You couldn't do Bob Hoskins because he's dead, personally. Just so you're saying.
Oh, he's dead? Why? Yeah. Oh no, I have to recast. All right. What am I? Ooh, Hugh Laurie.
Mm-hmm.
Hugh Laurie is M.
Hugh Laurie as M.
I was thinking of him too.
Hugh Laurie as M. Definitely. And then I just need a Moneypenny. Oh no, I need a James and a
Q as well. Who's your Q?
Wait, my Q was Ruth Wilson.
Ruth Wilson. Okay. So Hugh Laurie, Ruth Wilson, Moneypenny.
I need a Moneypenny.
Male or female, doesn't matter.
Ooh. I love that guy. Just pops in, spaghetti, eats, and goes by.
It's actually pad thai. So.
Listen, you're Italian.
That's why I had to make that.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Who's the kid from Rock and Roller? The guy who ended up playing in Fantastic Four as Victor.
Victor Von Doom.
Oh, the new kid.
As Doom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know him. He's interesting.
He's like I like him as an actor. Like I think he's pretty good, and I think as a Moneypenny would be completely different for him.
Yeah. His name is Toby.
Toby Kebbell. Yep.
There we go. So I'll cast him as my Moneypenny.
All right.
And then to go for a new Jamie.
We'll just go with 007.
007 would be Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley? Really?
Here's why.
All right.
One, I've seen enough because I'm thinking acting chops and combination with they can handle stunts. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because 007 is not just like a casual spy who relies on he or she is not afraid to get their hands dirty.
Well, this is but you also have to wonder that this is taking into consideration that the James Bond that they're going to be portraying, because there have been several different versions of James Bond.
Right.
Like Craig has been much more gritty and more action and been much more violent, as opposed to a Brosnan. But not a lot. It was more
Brosnan wasn't
guns.
as actiony. By comparison, you would say like Brosnan was like a John Woo film compared to like fucking Michael Bay film of Daniel Craig. You know what I mean? They were two different kind of action films, but it's still enough action that you're getting that slight hand to hand kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not over the top. I still want to see them be capable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For spies, I don't want to see a lot of like I don't want to see you be the best fighter in the world. I don't need you to be the best fighter in the world, but I do need you to like be able to subdue multiple like assailants and still get away scot free kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, of course, it's James Bond.
Speaking of which, did you see that I showed you guys a trailer for oh man, it's the movie with Dylan O'Brien and Michael Keaton.
Nope.
He's training him to be like a CIA agent and whatnot.
Nope.
Oh, hold on, I'm gonna send it to the group chat now. But that movie, like capable like that, like Dylan O'Brien gets enough from like Maze Runner and fucking Teen Wolf to like kind of be hands on, but this is like a complete different side of him where he's just like, holy shit, you look like a badass right now. Like that's what's up.
Well, fuck, if we're going that route, I should just fucking recast Jason Statham. Jason Statham is Bond.
Well, what about non-athletic?
It'd be funny to see him as M, just to see how like fidgety he would get in the chair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Or
can
as
see
a
that.
comic relief, Jason Bateman.
All right.
Oh.
So, Guy, have you seen
American Assassin? That's the trailer.
Right on.
No, I have not seen Spider-Man, but you can talk about it.
So you don't care?
No.
No? Okay.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Yaki.
She says hi. So, no, I haven't seen it, but you may talk about it.
He's from Queens.
I'm going to make her mute it now.
Wait, what is happening?
I don't know. I'm not gonna ask. So Spider-Man.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah. Right.
I read your
so
thoughts, but I don't think people have. Everyone who could possibly be listening to this have read your thoughts. I want people to know your thoughts, and then I'm going to sort of throw out mine as well.
Talking
to Law.
Go for it. Well,
Because I know that we have
So-
some differing opinions on it, though I agree with some of the things that he said.
Yes.
Lay the law down.
I feel like that needs to be a sound clip.
Yeah, I'll
Right,
probably do that. Lay the law down.
So
Yo, I'll come up with catchphrases for all of us. You don't know me. Go ahead.
I do know you. This is why you're on the podcast.
Yeah, you're right.
Just
We all know you. There's a reason why you're here. So, Spider-Man.
So Spider-Man. All right.
Tell us about
After
Michael
an-
Keaton.
All right. Well, we're gonna save the best for last. But initially after watching it, I felt like I was glad that I didn't have to pay money to see it. Not that it was bad. I would give it like a solid 8 out of 10. Like it was a pretty good movie. But it wasn't the movie that I was expecting or I felt that we needed right now. Like there was no reason to push like something like Black Panther out, to squeeze that in. You know what I mean? It felt like more of a filler movie than anything else. And if they would have taken more time to develop it, it probably could have been a bigger and better like scope kind of thing. It felt like where yes, he is a neighborhood guy and he's very local kind of thing. The film itself, by comparison to the MCU, felt really small. It felt like watching a very short season of like a Netflix show. You know what I mean? So Did I really need it? Not necessarily. Did I enjoy myself? Sure. Like there was a lot of fun quips. There was, lots of great, scenes and homages to things. Loved it. Fucking one of the most hilarious parts is the Spanish bodega owner. Like that is so fucking New York. One of my friends, Leroy, like nailed it on the head when he was like, dude, they nailed New York City with that moment. You know what I mean? Like capturing the essence of New York, which most of the films haven't quite done yet. Like there's stuff that's just essentially nitpicking where people argued, does he have a spidey sense? Does he not have a spidey sense? I love the argument that he has his spidey sense, but he doesn't know.
He's not aware of it.
Right.
He's not cerebrally aware of it. He knows how to dodge things, but he's not necessarily able to call upon his spider sense to help him in situations.
Or realize like, oh shit, that's something that I can like train myself like to now have more because
sensory awareness.
Civil War, right? So like in Civil War, like everyone was like, oh, he heard the sound and then turned. That wasn't Spidey sense. And I was like, all right, what about in?
Well, but in Civil War, it was like that fast. So he would have had to have. He would have had to have had some sort of spider sense to be able to dodge that. There's no way he would have dodged that, because it was literally Cap hucked that thing at him. Was it Cap? Right. Or was somebody? It was somebody.
No. I think it was
or Bucky. It was Bucky.
Bucky. I think it was Bucky.
He hucked it at him as hard as he could, and it flew by him. It was like literally. It was he threw it, and it was that fast before he turned and ducked.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
So there was that. Then Michael Keaton, nailed it. He is probably right now best Marvel MCU villain.
Oh, by far. So
far. I would say not only is he the most relatable villain, shy of Zoloff, but I feel like Zoloff, they missed certain parts that they could have expanded on. But Vulture was essentially like, you can see a bit of yourself in him, like why he does what he's doing, and whatnot. And like that twist at the end was like really fucking like, oh, like I don't think you can like in hindsight I can probably see it coming if I like paid attention more to it, but it was so well done and it makes you appreciate how they did it even more. Yeah, that's it for the most part. I think I probably elaborated on a few things here and there in the article and in the news feed or the post.
Absolutely. If you guys, if people are listening, if you want to read the full extent of what he wrote down, you can go to NBNmag.com and look for his review of Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yes.
But there are a few little things that you threw in there that I am sort of... I don't see the movie as a filler. I see it as a solid setup, short of an origin story, because he's only been Spider-Man for 6 months, so he's not aware of all his abilities and the things that he's able to do. He's still figuring out different web fluids. He's 15 years old. He hasn't even really gone through
those are things that I actually took away and appreciated, though. I loved and appreciated, like, the fact that he was building web fluid and he was still, like, in school. Like, my whole, like, when they casted him in Civil War was like, wait, he's in high school. But this doesn't make sense in, like, the actual timeline. All right, let's just go MCU timeline. Oh, he's being cast, but he's only 6 months into it, like having powers. Like it was a big like what the fuck, you know what I mean? Because essentially, how are you that much of a blip on the radar to Tony, like at 6 months in?
YouTube.
I like even YouTube is like.
Well, but think about it like this.
Yeah.
Tony Stark has his feelers out for anything that's even close to supernatural, especially after Thor starts popping up, you had Hulk pop up, you had Cap. After the whole Avengers thing, after they had fucking aliens in New York, Tony Stark has essentially had his hands in everything, especially with S.H.I.E.L.D. and the government and all of that shit.
Right.
So he's going to find out about anything, especially if it's one of those deals. Like, it might be on YouTube, yes, but if there's enough, if there's enough of it and it doesn't look like it's fake, because I'm sure he can figure out if something's been faked digitally and that type of deal. If he's got enough of it, he's like, okay, well, at least I'll go check this out.
Right.
And then it's one of those things where, I feel like the Civil War thing was like a test run. It was an audition, which is why I think he seemed so much more focused in Civil War than he did in Homecoming, because he didn't have his everyday life to think about while he was doing his thing as Spider-Man. He was there with Iron Man, and he got to see Captain America and Falcon and Black Widow and all of the Avengers. He got to see all those people, and he had to fight some of them. So it's like, what's the best way? It's like, if you're on a sports team, and I'll just say football because I played football in high school. If you're playing football, a varsity football game, you're tuned in. You know exactly what's going on. You know where everybody's going, especially if you've done your homework. But if you're playing a fucking pickup game of football, like on the field after school just to fuck around, you're not dialed in. You're just having a good time, and then you're off daydreaming or something. You get fucking clocked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, yes, there were some spots where I feel like it was a little over-exaggerated, but on the whole, I feel like he had this whole thing where he's trying, Uncle Ben probably just died, so he's dealing with that shit. The whole Civil War thing, again, was an escape, so this was something to do that he, in his mind, try to make Uncle Ben proud of him for doing something great, especially him being Spider-Man afterwards. And then you have the whole deal with him trying to not upset Aunt May, him still being in school, and he's obsessed with becoming an Avenger, which he thinks he wants, and in the end he doesn't end up really wanting to do to begin with. And then you have the whole thing where he has a thing for, what was her name, Laura, in the movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Laura or Lisa or something like that. So he has a whole thing with that, with her. He's trying to keep, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on, as opposed to the very focused thing that happened, and it was a very short time period. He was only in Germany for like a weekend.
Not even a few days, yeah.
Yeah, not even a few days. And once that whole thing, once the airport thing ended, he was back on a plane to New York.
Right.
So I feel like that was a very small sample size, and to take a 15-year-old kid, well, obviously he's not 15 years old in real life, but he's playing a 15-year-old, almost 16,
right,
in real life, I mean, in the movie, to take that kid who knows how important and how big it is that what he's doing in Civil War, and how focused and how, I mean, like, obviously he was a kid, and he was freaking out because they showed all the, he was documenting everything at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
He was still, like, fanboying out really hard, but he really, really, really wanted to do well for Mr. Stark. He really wanted to impress them. He really wanted to make a good impression on all of them. So he was doing his absolute best and being completely focused. Whereas in New York, in Homecoming, he didn't feel like he had at least this is what I got from it. It didn't seem like he felt that he was getting taken care of the way that he was in Civil War. Like Stark didn't have his back, or not that that's true, because Stark obviously did have his back with, calling the FBI and the whole 9 yards, but he just didn't feel like he was being taken seriously after how well he did in Civil War. So that contributed to him taking more risks and making stupid mistakes, like Spider-Man does a lot in the comic books. But it's one of those deals where, you got Spider-Man 6 months in, he's, shit's gonna happen. I would like to see where it goes come Civil War, Infinity Wars, because it's going to be much further into the future. It's going to be like another year or so where he's had some experience and he's figured out and picked up things and gotten better at all sorts of shit, and he matures a little bit more.
Do you feel like we needed it in the sense of we could have waited till after Infinity War to give him his own movie?
No, I don't think so. I don't like that they pushed back uh, Black Panther. I would have rather have seen them um, switch Black Panther with Thor. You know, no offense to Thor, but out of all of the big heroes, I mean, like, Thor Ragnarok's going to be cool, don't get me wrong, but that's not, like, one of the big ones that I'm looking forward to.
World War Hulk, but that's not, here or there.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I could wait until February to see Thor.
We also could have waited a little bit for Guardians. As good as the second Guardians was and how important it was a good placeholder to keep you, like, okay, Guardians are still fresh in your mind for Infinity Wars. Because every other movie otherwise is just Avengers movie, essentially, in some part.
This is true. However, I feel like because the Guardians of the Galaxy movie takes place literally 4 months after the first one, if they had waited any longer, it would have confused people even more. It was just sort of one of those deals where they were between a rock and a hard place trying to fit in. I feel like it was a solid thing to introduce Spider-Man in his own element as opposed to a secondary character, so you at least have a better glimpse into what he's doing before Infinity Wars, so that shit that happens in Infinity Wars could potentially have much more of an emotional impact and have a much more of an impact on the story in general. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have this whole learning curve that happens in Homecoming, and you wait until after Infinity Wars. You know, it's one of those weird things, like, because Infinity Wars is going to happen, and I'm not sure how they're going to do it because they're split a year apart, part 1 and part 2. But I have a really big feeling that some shit's going down in the Infinity War movie. So
people are dying, people are coming in.
Yeah, so I
can place money that Adam Warlock appears.
Actually, Marvel said that it probably wasn't going to happen. That he wasn't going to be in Infinity Wars.
But they are going to introduce him as
Adam Warlock is going to be introduced, but he's not going to be introduced in Infinity Wars.
Also, did you hear the whole... So, I'm not sure where I heard it from, but you remember how we all assumed that was Adam Warlock in the first Guardians in the tank?
Yep, it wasn't. What were the fucking gold people that were in the second Guardians? They created Adam Warlock.
So who the fuck was in the tank?
They're not saying. It was a fan theory. It was a theory.
I want to call bullshit, but there's not enough evidence to support any of anything, really.
Adam Warlock was seen in the second one. They confirmed it.
Okay.
I'll double check that.
Right.
But I'm pretty damn sure that Adam Warlock was confirmed. Anyway, I don't feel like having Spider-Man come in after the first Infinity War movie, because it's going to be essentially the halfway point in it. I don't feel like it would have done any good story-wise.
Having him drop just before Infinity War. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it just happens so, like, we're going to place you right here and move everyone over like this because Spidey's but he's a very big, popular name. Like, you hear Spider-Man, toy sales goes up. Like, every kid in the world is like, I want to be Spider-Man, so that's not third. You know, it's a relatable character, yes. However, so I don't know for, like, what, or to what extent that, you know, we couldn't have Black Panther come and do his origin story. Like, what purpose is served by, like, jamming him in the middle of this year as opposed to waiting to, like, end of, because essentially you don't want to put him in a month that is outside of the summer months, because that's his time to shine for some reason. It's always been the case. However, this year has been so good for movies that essentially you can drop movies anytime, so long as you have a good film and a good following. I think he would have been all right in the later part of the year.
Well, if we're talking sale-wise, yeah, but like I said, I think it has a lot more to do with story continuity and all of that fun stuff. I really think that it has a lot to do with how they're going to fit him into Infinity Wars, and I think because he's had his first full movie a year before the first Infinity Wars movie comes out, there's going to be a much bigger role for him in it. And there's going to be much bigger implications. Especially if, like if he ends up becoming a full-time Avenger after Infinity Wars because, let's just say, Tony Stark dies and Steve Rogers dies. Let's say, there are a bunch of...
We are getting Captain Marvel, so it's going to be a lot of new faces.
Yeah, but we don't get Captain Marvel until 2019.
We get the movie, but I don't know if they've confirmed or unconfirmed, whatever the case is, that she'll be in Infinity War.
Yeah, but there's 2 parts to Infinity War, so it depends on what part of Infinity War she's going to be in.
True. Okay.
But still, like I said, I feel like fleshing out some of his backstory with like I said, I wouldn't call it a filler, but a good almost origin story. But they don't have to go into the whole thing about how Uncle Ben's dead because everybody already fucking knows. Yeah, everybody already knows that. We've seen it enough. It's great. I'm happy that they didn't do it like that. But
right.
To give you a real good idea of what his mindset is, and how he thinks, and how he operates, and why he does the things he does, it will inform the audience when they see Infinity Wars, especially if he has a much bigger role in that than he did, say, in like Civil War, where he can be one of the main characters. It'll add more emotional tie and emotional value to the things that he does, and if something happens to him or anything like that, which I don't think he's not going to die because there's already a second Spider-Man movie that they're starting to write. But
yeah, he can't die. That'd be too much.
Yep.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities because of fucking Scarlet Witch and everyone else with a fucking power who can do shit, but it would be way too fucking
and it also
dramatic to
they may have also jumped him in there just to appease Sony, because Sony makes all the money on any solo Spider-Man movie, but Marvel makes the money on any movie that Spider-Man is in that he's not the title character. So like the Avengers and Civil War, they make profits. They make all the profits off of those, and Sony doesn't get shit for that, even though the character's in it. But if it's a standalone Spider-Man movie,
really strange deal.
Yeah.
That's all.
The reason why they
of the old Hulk deal, or technically the still current.
Yeah, well, the reason why they do that is because Spider-Man is the #1 character for merchandise. Last year, Spider-Man sold more merchandise than Batman, Superman, and the Avengers combined.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So they're like,
and
cool.
he has his own movie in like what, 4 years?
Yeah. So odds are, yeah, they raked in a bunch of money for Spider-Man, this movie, but they're making Sony raked in a good chunk of money because they did all this distribution and everything for it, but Marvel's making a fuckload off of merchandising, and by getting that movie out there and hyping up Spider-Man and getting to see him in a full movie, that's going to make people more excited to see how he's developed in Infinity Wars.
Right.
And then that way, because the deal was so fresh, to be able, because you had, we're only like a year removed from Civil War, if that.
Barely.
Yeah, barely. Yeah, like a year and a couple months.
A year and a couple months, because I want to say Civil War was like
in April of last year, April or May of last year. Yeah, so it was only like 3 or 4, like 16 months or something like that, less than that. 14, 15 months from when he appeared. So potentially it works out in Marvel's favor even more to have him in Civil War so they get the merchandising, because then everyone goes fucking batshit crazy for Spider-Man, and it pushes Civil War up to another level, and then they jam in Homecoming the next year to appease Sony, so they make some money out of the deal because it's the MCU Spider-Man, but they still own the fucking distribution rights and all that shit. So they get to be happy with that, and Marvel still gets to make a fuck ton of money on merchandise because there's more of it in there, and it also works out in Marvel's favor again, because if the movie does well, which it did, even though I think it had a second week drop off, which that's how it is always going to happen, especially with how many good movies are coming out this summer. That's just how it is. I mean, unless you do something.
What was the movie that gave him that?
I have no idea. I've only just seen like shitty reports on it. So half of it, I might not even be totally correct on that. But
I don't feel like anything strong enough.
Well, yeah, but it's not making it hasn't bumped it out of contention, but it hasn't fucking
made the kind of money that
it did make the money that it made the first week or two.
Gotcha. Well, that wouldn't be enough to do it, because I was gonna say you have this fucking movie that just
Despicable Me 3 is out.
Despicable Me 3, yeah.
But like I said, there's not enough. I think a fuckload of people went to see it the first week, and then it dropped off, and it was a dramatic drop, but it still probably made a decent amount of money. It probably made all of its fucking money back in the first week, if not the first weekend.
Yeah.
But it works out in Marvel's favor to have a full-on movie a year after he's been introduced to the MCU, and then he plays a big role in Infinity Wars.
Okay.
So they get 3 appearances of Spider-Man in 3 years in 3 huge movies, and
everyone essentially wins.
Yeah, and Sony only makes money on one of them.
Yeah. I mean, depending on how you look at it, everyone wins, but Sony's. I feel like as much as Sony wants to hold on and be like, listen, we're gonna hold on, we're gonna make some money off of this, getting the bulk deal where you sell him back would probably be a better beneficial thing, because I feel like Marvel's just gonna be like, okay, they're gonna do what they're doing now, in a nutshell. They're gonna just say, all right, we're gonna use them here, and then they'll drop them in here and there, here and there, here and there, and then here you go, drop them in here and there, here and there, and then just keep doing that until until Sony's like, fuck, we're really not making as much money as we could have had we just taken the big deal.
Yeah,
but
if they didn't,
risk reward is like if they fucking take that deal, and then like they end up making like fucking 4 times that much with Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But that's one of those things. I agree with you. There were some things in the movie that could have been better, but I mean, you could say that about just about every movie. And I say just about every movie because Wonder Woman was the fucking shit.
Jesus Christ, that movie was amazing.
It was so awesome. It was so good.
It was very well paced. It fucking hit the mark. It felt refreshing, and as far as like, not even just DC movies, it felt refreshing as a fucking comic book adaptation to me.
Yep.
Like, it was just like, holy shit, like, this is kind of the movie I needed. Like, didn't know I needed that movie, but I definitely needed it and wanted it afterwards. It was, like, I felt really good coming out of that movie.
I thought it was funny that a lot of people were saying, they just copied Marvel, where it's like...
How?
Well, because it was very reminiscent of the first Captain America movie.
But
I will say that why I think that that's wrong is because they're like, it was lighthearted, and I was like, it was lighthearted at times, but I mean, like, it was. There were some parts that were funny and lighthearted.
There were parts that was funny, but
the movie, the content of the movie was really fucking dark. Like, going out into no man's land and fucking, saving an entire town, and then 10, 15 minutes later, watching that town get gassed and have everyone fucking murdered.
Yeah.
There was some really, really dark shit. But there were some lighthearted spots. But like you said, it was paced well, it was written well, it was well shot, and everyone played.
Kudos to that director for not taking as much money the first time around, because now that it's fucking done so well, I think her and Gal didn't take as much money the first time around, but now that it did so well,
they can negotiate
to fucking negotiate for fucking
way more
crazy money.
Because the second one will do just as well, especially if they have the same director. They're the same director, and they keep Gal, which would be a stupid fucking move to get rid of Gal Gadot, but or Gadot, or however the fuck you bring Gal. I'm just gonna go with Gal.
Gal. Yeah. It's Gal Gadot, but
Gal Gadot. Right. Whatever. Is it? I can never tell with Israeli names. It's like sometimes it's like French, but sometimes it's not like French. Sometimes I can't tell, so I'm just gonna shut up about that.
Just be like the pretty one, and we'll all know who you're talking about.
The model.
Lawrence, you can't say that. She is pretty. She was a fucking what is it, Miss Israeli or Miss Israel?
Yeah, she was Miss Israel, and she was in the Miss Universe contest. She didn't even want to be there either. She's like, I wanted to lose.
that was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, she was the hot one. Well, although I will say all of the women that were in that movie were hot.
Yeah.
Or at least all the Amazons were.
Not for nothing, the poison chick is pretty in real life, I think.
Oh, she's gorgeous in real life.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. What is it?
Speaking of gorgeous in real life, how excited are you about Squirrel Girl, by the way?
Oh, with the fucking the AT&T chick?
AT&T girl?
Oh, dude, my God. God.
Me and Zayas have had a low-key crush on her.
Oh, my God.
Since, she first became, thing. And
oh,
then,
my God. I want to see more. I'm gonna get chastised for this heavily, probably by most of my female. But I would love to see some lingerie or bikini shots. That woman is stacked. She is fucking stacked. She's gorgeous, and hopefully she's a really good actress.
I think she has enough quirks shown from.
Well, yeah, it's not like fucking Squirrel Girl is like this big serious role either.
She's very quirky, funny, goofball kind of thing. Doesn't take herself too serious. Well, I shouldn't say she doesn't take herself too seriously. She actually takes herself seriously, but isn't taken seriously.
Right.
If that makes more sense. But yeah, that should be a fucking very interesting to see how that plays out in the grand scheme of things. And also, who else? They didn't cast Sentry. Who else? They casted a guy with her at the same time, but I don't know. I can't remember what he was playing.
Well, didn't they cast Maisie Williams in the X-Men universe as Wolfsbane? Was she Wolfsbane?
I don't know if she's Wolfsbane. I know she is in the X-Men universe.
The New Mutants.
Yeah, she's in New Mutants. There's so much happening between New Mutants and the Fox universe. Technically,
fuck that universe.
Fuck that universe, and fuck that multiverse. Fuck that multiverse.
Exactly. Fuck that multiverse.
Yeah, fuck that multiverse. I had to explain that to 4 people the other day, and they were just like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "They created a multiverse, and by doing so,
without even trying to."
Yeah, without even trying to, they created a multiverse, which can also help them to come back into the MCU if they got their heads out of their asses. But that is what it is. I also find it really funny that people are like, "Lawrence, you have a podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah. How have you guys not known this?" But it is what it is. For those of you not listening, welcome.
No, she is. Maisie Williams was cast as Wolfsbane, and Anya Taylor-Joy was cast as Magic. If I do, Magic. So Colossus' sister.
All right, so we have New Mutants. We have Cloak and Dagger, which is associated to who? Is that Netflix?
That's Marvel, but it's CW.
Oh, all right.
No, not CW. ABC Freeform. It's
Gotcha.
what ABC Family used to be. It's Freeform.
Gotcha. So we're doing that. Legion is its own thing. The Runaways, is that the other one?
That's going to be a Hulu show. You're going to get Gifted, which is going to be like post X-Men, but with mutants or something along those lines.
There's so many fucking things. What was the other? We're finally getting fucking Defenders soon.
I'm so excited. It's what, next month, right?
I think it's like a few weeks, if not a few days, because I want to say it comes out the end of. Hold on.
Yeah, pull that shit up.
Defenders release date is, please tell me July, August 18th, 2017. So
it's the third.
I'm definitely binging that shit. Yeah, it's the
third
week.
For sure. For sure. Shut the front door.
What are your theories on them in Infinity War expanding their universe where the TV shows will be more prominent? Do you think that's gonna happen, or is it fucking pipe dream at this point?
Is what gonna happen? What?
Like, are we gonna have Luke Cage, Daredevil, like the whole shebang, and even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in that like event, more or less, or are they gonna try to have it as they do in the series, where it's a separate event and they literally just call it the event? You know what I mean?
There's been talk that they're going to use some sort of some of the full-on.
Because even if like Spidey is in like a Netflix show, I'd fucking bug out. Like, I would love to see that because he's in New York.
I do believe there is talk that we're gonna be able to see some maybe even all of the heroes from the Netflix the street level teams. So there is talk of like Daredevil and Luke Cage showing up.
Have they all not been? They've all been Avengers at some point, right? In some fashion.
No, I think they've all been. I know they've all been Defenders. I don't know if Daredevil's ever been an Avenger.
I know Luke Cage has been an Avenger. And before she became like, she just used Jessica Jones when she was Jules. She was an Avenger, no?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Let's take a look.
Survey says.
Daredevil was in New Avengers.
Okay.
Let's see. You want me to look up Luke Cage?
Yeah.
Luke Cage Avengers.
Iron Fist was also in New Avengers. He's been in a lot. New Avengers, Heroes for Hire, Defenders, Immortal Weapons, and Thunderbolts.
Yeah, Luke Cage has been in Avengers. He was actually part of the Fantastic Four.
Really?
Yes.
When was this? I remember Spidey being.
I don't know.
At some point. You know who? Oh, I don't. You know, I just. I was talking about this with someone like a while ago. We forgot who else can connect all the universes if they play their cards right, and it's Reed Richards and Sue Storm's son.
Which is.
Hold on. Reed Richards and Sue Storm's son.
Yeah, you just said that.
Franklin Richards. He's the kid who, like, he's an Omega level mutant, I think, or something like that. Where, for instance, in one of the stories, he was watching a show and they said, well, this can only happen if you're an adult or if you're a big kid or whatever the case is. So he was like, all right, why don't I just become a big kid? And in that moment that he thought it, he aged like 12 years.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's scary. Like, like Legion's powers.
He's like
right?
He's like Legion powerful, but not the same.
Legion.
Not the same
Right.
way, but he's Legion powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I wonder how they're going to fit that in, considering they don't have the rights to fucking Fantastic Four or mutants.
Right. So he's a mutant on Earth 616,
which is the Earth, our Earth.
Right. Let's see if they give like powers and attributes and shit. Why is he the most ridiculous hero of all comics? Like he's 47, one of the most. So, like Wolverine and the X-Men, Franklin is a mutant. Unlike Wolverine and virtually all the X-Men, Franklin is what's known as an Omega level mutant, a term used for only the most powerful mutants in the Marvel Universe. Essentially, the only other beings or things that are Omega are Legion, Phoenix Force, Jean Grey, and like fucking what's his name? Apocalypse. Like,
so yeah, his ability.
For those of you listening who are like, what the fuck is an Omega level mutant? They're like that fucking.
All right, I'll give you. Here are his abilities: reality warping, matter manipulation, energy projection, telekinesis, telepathy, astral projection, precognition, immortality, and the ability to create pocket universes.
Yeah, I'm looking at look the picture right here. It says he created his own fucking universe.
Yeah.
So essentially, he's as powerful, if not more powerful, than Scarlet Witch, in the sense that like he can actually connect all of the previous aforementioned things.
So crazy.
That would be insane. Like, I would love to see that. I only knew about him, to be honest with you, after seeing the Spider-Man strip with him and Franklin, talking about when Johnny died. And he's like, yeah, my Uncle Ben died too, blah, blah, blah. And they were like going back and forth of like, sharing experiences and stuff. And it was like really touching to see like Peter like, giving him that like, it's going to be okay, I miss my uncle too speech thing. And I was like really like in my feels, because it was the exact year after my uncle passed away. And it was like, and I looked at the date and I was like, what are the odds? But it was something that I kind of needed to see, and it was like really well done. So kudos to Marvel on that little tidbit.
Right on. Alright, so we're back. So yeah.
Can we make Danny have like a really smooth voice and then just be like, and we're back.
And we're back.
The
Welcome back, geeks. This is your host, the bearded one. That beard guy.
That beard guy. Oh my god, you know that's my summer shirt, right? Anytime it hits over like 85,
that beard guy.
That is almost my go-to like shirt. It's so clutch.
That beard guy. Yeah. So yeah, Disney castings.
Whew. Yeah, I was preparing myself for it, but I wasn't sure if we were actually gonna get into it.
Disney castings.
All right, so before, I'm not. I feel like we've talked about it before. So don't do things for the sake of doing them. Like, do them if they make sense or if they feel right.
I agree with that.
So, the Aladdin casting, I'm actually 2/3 okay with.
The only one I'm not okay with is Will Smith being the fucking genie.
And I'm in complete agreement.
Like, fucking seriously? Seriously? Is the genie gonna fucking rap like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Like, is that what's gonna happen?
Actually, if he did, I'd actually be kind of okay with it, but not really. Also, remind me to tell you about a fan theory that the original Aladdin takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, apparently.
Alright, that's interesting.
Yeah, we might have to touch on that. Yeah, like, I'm not one who's like, because it happened with, Heath Ledger, and everyone was just like, no one can replace him, blah, blah, blah. And then we got Jared Leto, who essentially didn't replace him. And you shouldn't feel like you have to replace the person who came before you, especially, after they passed away. That's a really big shoes to fill. As a matter of fact, the other person who played Genie afterwards, there was one more person in the third or second movie.
The second movie, because he didn't come back for the sequel. He didn't come back for the first sequel. He came back for the third one, though.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's like...
No, I agree with that, but I'm not looking for anyone to replace Robin Williams, but I just don't see Will Smith as the Genie. Like, for me...
All right. Are they giving us the same big, blue, lovable, fluffy, essentially a...
I don't know. Because if they were doing that, I feel like Jack Black would have been a way, way better choice.
Yeah.
Perfect choice.
Yeah. I'm not trying to argue it, but I'm trying to see if I can find someone who also fits the bill more than Will Smith. And it's not that Will Smith can't be funny. He's funny, and he's a great actor. It's just so out of depth for him.
Yeah, it's like asking fucking Johnny Depp to be James Bond.
Yeah, no,
like Johnny Depp's a good actor, but I wouldn't cast him as fucking James Bond. Granted, It's not like saying that the genie's like James Bond. Anyone who wants to fight me on that, I won't fight you at all. It's two different things, but that's the best. That's the best comparison I could come up with, right off the bat. It's like asking.
Yeah,
Johnny, come on.
I know what you mean. It's one of those situations where, is he gonna what are you asking of him? You know what I mean? So we'll go.
Is this movie going to be similar to?
With Jared Leto, what are we asking for him to be the Joker? What kind of? Because there's different takes and different interpretations of the Joker.
Of course, there is
throughout the years. With Hamill arguably being the best one, Heath Ledger being a close second.
Yeah, you couldn't make me argue any other way besides Hamill being the best Joker.
I mean, Hamill is our Joker, like Conroy is our Batman.
Right?
And
like if I
fight me if you think anything.
Yeah,
anything
you can fight either of us. Like Conroy is most definitely, when I think of Batman and he's talking, it's fucking Kevin Conroy. When I think of the Joker, whenever he's talking, it's Mark Hamill. Like, period. Right. That laugh that he has, I don't think anyone will ever fucking be able to duplicate. It's too good.
It's chilling. It's iconic. It's a very it's something that sticks with you, and the same goes for Robin Williams as Genie. Like that over the top, robust kind of character where you're getting bits of Mrs. Doubtfire, you're getting bits of fucking
Well, Williams was such a crazy improv guy that
it was so fucking amazing.
And that's what kills me about them casting Will Smith, because I mean, yes, in hip hop, improvisation is a big thing, especially if you're freestyling. But there's a difference between improving and freestyling, especially acting wise. Now, I could be totally wrong. Will Smith could totally kill this, but if we're getting what they did with
what route are they doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if we're getting what they did with Beauty and the Beast when they made a live action movie that was essentially the same fucking movie except live action, then I would.
Which is why I still haven't seen it yet, because I'm just.
It was good. No, you really should see it. It was very, very well done. Emma Watson did a great. The whole freaking movie's great. LeFou, Josh Gad's LeFou is fucking fantastic in the movie.
Gotcha.
The extra songs that they did, the way that they put it together, it was really, really well done.
Gaston, by the way, like I heard Luke Evans as
he was
Gaston
great. The whole movie was fantastic. I thought it was very well done. It was very well made. I was very pleasantly surprised. I'm not one of those people that was going to go see it in the movie theater, but when it came out, I actually went out and bought the movie for Alyssa, for my wife, so she could have it, but also so I could watch it. Like I wanted to see it, but I wasn't gonna go out and go into the theater to go see it. It just was that's not my thing. I didn't need to see it in the theater. I could easily see it in at home on Blu-ray. Yeah. So I probably wouldn't go see Aladdin in the theaters. It don't really not gonna be my thing. But
there's not enough. Well,
but if they're going to do it the way that they did the Beauty and the Beast live action,
my favorite childhood classic movies. You know what I mean? It's not like where they're like, we're doing a live action Dumbo, and you're just like, why?
Well, I don't know. I loved Dumbo when I was a kid.
I loved Dumbo, but I feel no need to make live action for it. Other than the fact that Tim Burton is making it, which makes me okay with it, and the fact
it intrigues the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's intriguing enough that I'm like, okay, Tim Burton.
Okay, if Burton's gonna do it, it's gonna be pretty cool.
It's gonna be cool, and that scene that everyone knows is like the scariest shit when you were a kid. Like they had to be tripping on acid when they fucking did it. Is going to be scary as shit. Like,
which it should be, but
it should. Absolutely.
Again, my point is, if they're doing it faithful to the original animated movie that they did in the 90s, then the genie has to be very, very verbose. He has to be very, very off the wall, and he has to be very flamboyant. Is even a word. Like he needs to be out there. The genie needs to be. I kind of
feel like it should be done as well, if not better, than Jungle Book. Jungle Book was very well done, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was so pleasantly surprised because my mom was like, "You guys seen Jungle Book?" I'm like, "Mom," nothing really grabbed me to see it, because essentially the best live action version was for me when
in the late 90s.
The late 90s when he was older.
Yeah.
And they were trying to it was almost like a take on Tarzan as well.
It was like Jungle Book and Tarzan at the same time. but it was more Jungle Book than it was Tarzan.
Exactly, but I liked it. I really liked that version. I like what they did with it. It was a brand new take on an older thing. For this, I'm like, you guys, like, what, like, there's nothing that I can think of off the top of my head that would be like, I need to see this movie. You know
Mulan,
what I mean?
dude, I'm actually really excited for Mulan. But they haven't really said anything about the casting.
Right.
What they have said is that they're nixing the musical numbers, which I'm okay with, because the reason I'm okay with it is A, they're mixing the musical numbers, and B, they're nixing the whole love story between Shang is his name?
Yeah.
And Mulan.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're nixing those, and they're making it more of an action movie, so it's going to be much more of a war movie. So they're making it more
Pirates of the Caribbean, like
they're making Disney it more. They're making it more realistic.
Right. Okay.
And
I don't want to say Pirates of the Caribbean as in terms of like fun, like out there.
I'm sure there would be some funny moments in it, but they're making it less like Disney animated feature.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And they're changing the character of Shang to a rival that Mulan has, that eventually, instead of falling in love with her, comes to respect and befriend her.
Okay.
But the thing that got me that made me laugh was everyone lost their shit about the fact that they were taking away the musical numbers. Even though it's going to be a female-led movie where she is a warrior and she's leading people into battle and she saves the entirety of a fucking country. And B, they were pissed about them taking away the love story between Shang and Mulan, which again, you would think they would be cool with that, because how stereotypical is, this woman, she... it's such an archetypal story where the woman becomes pretends to be a man in order to do something that only men can do, and their love interest they like them as a soldier, but it's one of those things where they're strangely attracted to them, and then eventually they find out, and they're like, oh, they're angry at first that they were betrayed and they were lied to, and then they come around and they fall in love and they live happily ever after.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think that they would want to get away from. You think
we've seen every fucking movie.
Think that they would want to get away from that stereotype, and that they'd be glad where it's not a woman who ends up falling in love with one of the lead men, but is respected by one of her fiercest rivals within the company, and they become good friends, and they see each other as equals, which isn't that the whole fucking point? Like, isn't that even better? Because originally in the actual story of Mulan, she becomes a concubine of the fucking emperor. She's revered by anybody. She becomes a concubine. She becomes a whore in real life. Yeah. So this is still way
to go Disney to give a good
to change that.
Change.
Oh hell yeah! I think it's much better, because Mulan actually existed. Mulan was actually a woman that existed. But still, it was one of those. It was just one of those deals where it's just what?
Did you hear about I think I posted like they're doing something with all the Disney princesses ever. What is I feel like
I heard that
Ralph something like it's either cameos or a full thing, and I'm just like, are they really doing like all the princesses? That would be cool, but to what degree? Like, why?
Well, and my question would be, what do you define as all princesses? Because there are definitely some princesses out there that aren't considered princesses, even though like I find them way more attractive, both intellectually and physically. And these are cartoons we're talking about here, but I mean, like, if they're gonna, in my opinion, if they're gonna do any more, after Aladdin and Mulan, and those are the big ones. I think they're gonna try and do like a fucking Lion King live action movie, something stupid like that. We'll see how that goes. But if they're
Childish Gambino is gonna be Simba so far, and we have the legend himself returning as Mufasa, James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones is gonna be Mufasa, yeah.
So like I'm actually kind of hype about saying that. And my whole motto this year for summer camp, because all the kids or the counselors will get like really stressed out. And you know me, I'm like super laid back and chill.
Hakuna Matata, bitches.
Hakuna Matata, and like it bugs me so much that like there's like a generational gap where they don't understand it, and I'm like, that wasn't that long ago, Lawrence. It was 20 years ago, but that wasn't that long ago, Lawrence. You're almost 30.
Yeah, I know. I get the same thing. You kidding me? I used to work with this when I worked in my last job. I worked with this girl. She was one of my assistant managers. She was 23, 24 years old. So like only like 4 or 5 years younger than I was at the time. And I would pull out like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure references and Wayne's World references, and she'd look at me like I had 6 heads. Like, I'd look at her and I'd be like, "Party on, Wayne," and she's like, "What?" I'm just like, "Oh, the correct response is party on, Garth." Just you don't even need to know the reference. Just whenever I say party on Wayne, you just have to say party on Garth, okay? And she just looked at me like I'm an idiot.
As young as she is, because she's younger than you, an appropriate response could be party on Darth, because of the meme where it's Darth Vader and Bruce Wayne.
Yep. No, yeah, that works too. But you could also do. I also did. I said. I was like, "No way!" And she just sort of looks at me. I'm like, "The correct response is yes way, Ted." And she's like, "Why would I call you Ted?" I'm like, "Oh no! Why are you doing this to me? Why?" Oh, I fucking love that movie. Oh, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Oh, it's so good. But anyway, if they're gonna do any more, like
I love the transition.
Yeah.
End scene.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the Disney live-action movies that they're talking about. If they're going to do any other ones, like because they got Aladdin and they've got Mulan and they've got Lion King lined up,
and Dumbo.
Jesus. So after the fucking 4 that they have lined up, and they better not do any fucking more. They better not do like fucking Bambi or something like that. I'll be really pissed off. They need to do Atlantis. A princess. She was already a princess. So we got Tiana was not a princess to start. Princess Aurora and Jasmine were princesses to start. Belle was not a princess to start. Merida was. Mulan was not a princess. Rapunzel was not a princess. Ariel was a princess to start. Giselle, I do believe, was a princess to start. Cinderella was not. Pocahontas was not. Snow White, I do believe, was. Do we want to?
Anna and Elsa are.
I do believe so. Moana, was she a princess?
I think she falls in the same category as
Pocahontas.
As Pocahontas.
Okay, so technically not the idea of royalty.
Not, but yes.
Yeah, smaller nation, that type of deal.
Yeah.
So we'll say like Pocahontas and Moana are sort of like in that middle ground where they're like they didn't have a king for a father. They were chiefs of tribes, but they weren't like kings of entire fucking like whole swaths of country. They weren't kings in the European fashion that we would consider kings. Regardless.
Yeah.
Nala was not a princess.
No. Right. No, she wasn't.
Who the fuck is this?
Well, wasn't Nala... No, never mind. I'm not even going to try to think about it.
Anna was, I do believe.
Yeah,
Elsa
and Elsa.
Tiger Lily from Peter Pan.
Right, she's definitely not.
Yep, and then, yeah.
Oh, wow, they actually have a list where it says, like, born into royalty, royal by marriage, and not royal.
Oh, throw it on the list of born into royalty.
Snow White, Aurora, Ariel, Jasmine as Sultan's daughter, Rapunzel, and Merida.
Oh, Merida, Rapunzel was. Okay, there you
go. Pocahontas is considered to be of royal heritage, as she is the daughter of the chief, and for considered Native American royalty by the English. Elena is also of royal lineage, though she has to be officially inducted as a Disney princess. Elena.
Who's Elena?
I don't know. Elena. I don't. I'm looking down the list. Let's see. Rapunzel, Merida, Anna, Elsa, Elena. Oh, she's the she was out of that new movie, the Spanish one. This one.
Oh, that just came out?
Yeah, it just came out. I don't even remember
Never
hearing about it a
saw
lot.
never saw that
Queen
movie.
Kida. Kida is a queen.
Oh yeah, Kida, that's her name, not Kira.
Kida, Ada from actually A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
All of Ariel's sisters.
Yeah.
Who are technically
The Seven Seas.
Right, which makes their mother. There's 6 of them, right?
Yeah.
And Ariel
Is the 7th, yeah.
No, they said it somehow a different way, where their mother's the Dead Sea or something like that. And I was like, you take that back.
Oh
you
wow.
Don't say that. It was funny and messed up. Wow, they go so far back as to go to Illinois.
Yeah, that was a Black Cauldron.
Black Cauldron, yeah. Wow. Let's see. She's a female protagonist, but she never became part of the official Disney franchise. The reasoning was due to the fact that the movie rating was PG and mainly due to the film's lack of success and copyright issues. Being 12 years old, she would have been the youngest Disney princess had she been inducted into the franchise. Giselle for Enchanted. Meg from Hercules, she's technically married into royalty. How does that even work? Because technically Zeus is a god.
Well, yeah, but there's...
Hercules is demigod, but is that a royalty thing as...
human royalty? Maybe?
Maybe. Well, Hercules was never a king.
This is true.
And nor was he a prince, but technically in that weird hierarchy, Zeus is king of the gods, so therefore Hercules is a prince, therefore Meg is a princess, question mark? We'll see. Let's see. Leia is now a Disney princess.
True.
By default, also Thor is a Disney princess.
Yeah, really?
Tommy, Jane Foster.
Yeah, Jane Foster is technically, yeah, she's a Disney princess.
So, there we go. So, Thor is now a Disney princess, though Batman will always be the prettiest Disney princess. I love that was a thing. Yeah, that's about it. But Vanellope on Streets is just a protagonist. Yeah, that's about it. Everyone else is they've been in movies, they've been a queen or a potential princess figure, but nope, that's about it.
I don't know. Still, regardless of different princesses and whatnot, I still think.
Get this far in?
Huh?
How do we get this far in?
How do we
get down this rabbit hole?
Talking about Kida not being really lumped in with the rest of the princesses. Because, I mean, if you go through and you look, I looked at a bunch of websites that had the list of the Disney princesses, it did not have Kida. And Kida was by far the most badass of all of them. I mean, I like Mulan and I like Merida. Those two are my other favorite ones. But, and Moana was great, too. I loved Moana.
Yeah.
But, fuck. Kida. Kida's the fucking shit.
Yeah.
Why are we not... Disney, why are you not getting on this,
and it's not
Atlantis?
Even so, you know when, we always mistake a movie franchise for another property?
Yeah.
We're always oh yeah, Shrek, Disney. and we're just like, no,
that's DreamWorks.
That's DreamWorks.
Well, like it's the same. Anastasia is technically a different animation company outside of Disney.
Everyone tries to lump her in with the Disney princesses, and it's like, no, definitely not Disney. But I feel like that's what happened to Atlantis. Atlantis is one of those like not obscure movies, but it came out, had a very big cult following, but like no one like, I think because it was like a typical love story arc pulling like them where it's like, save me. She's not some like save me princess. She's like a badass.
She saves just about everybody else, but Milo does end up helping to save her. But it wasn't one of
which is fine, but it's not like
he chooses. He chooses to save her as opposed to him having to be the knight in shining armor. It's sort of like a partnership as opposed to the helpless damsel in distress. But then again, you could also make that. You could say, oh well, Brave. Merida was definitely not that save me type of princess, and yet she is still lumped. She is still put in there with the rest of the Disney princesses. Mulan is not one of those types of princesses, and yet she is still in the Disney princesses.
She is not a princess.
I know, but she's still considered a Disney princess.
Yeah, right.
Belle is not one of those princesses.
Yeah.
To a point. She did need help, but it was one of those deals where it was like, she was smart and she was, able to figure things out on her own. She was just like, oh my god, I don't know what's happening. Someone save me. And she basically was like, fuck you, beast. I'm going to live here, and you're going to fucking like it. And that's all there is to it. You're not going to kill me either, motherfucker. And you know what? You're going to fall in love with me, and it's going to suck for you.
Isn't that what marriage is like, anyways?
No comment.
I mean,
zero comment on any. You are not going to. No, I'm not saying anything on marriage. I will say nothing on marriage because
I was gonna quote a comedian who said like first like she had like a couple of her things over, then she had her own drawer, and then she just never left. She was always there. I woke up and watched ESPN, and she was like, "What are you gonna watch next?" The same fucking Sports Center that just came on 5 minutes ago. I want to watch this. When did you become a thing in this household?
When did you start living here?
How did you get keys?
Did I give you keys? I don't remember giving you keys.
I don't know.
But I just... Getting back to the castings and all of that shit.
Yeah.
I don't see what everybody's all fucking pissy about. I really don't. If they're going to complain about anything, they should be complaining about Will Smith being the fucking genie. Not about who they have playing Jasmine.
Like, come on. Of all of the things to complain about, like, we did it. Ninja, we made it.
Yep.
Like, granted, she's not like a typical like Middle Eastern woman. Like, listen.
Oh.
You're gonna be alright.
All right. My retort to anyone who says, "Oh, well, she's not Middle Eastern." In all of the fucking, in all of the potential casting for Aladdin, when Disney was saying, "Oh, we're having trouble finding a lead for Aladdin," I can't tell you how many fucking lists I looked at where 3/4 of the actors were Indian Bollywood actors. So it's okay for Aladdin to be fucking Indian, which again, I would have zero problem with that. Absolutely none. I don't care who the fuck they cast as Aladdin or Jasmine. Just don't cast Will Smith as a fucking genie. It just doesn't make any sense.
I feel like this is your Tom Cruise rant.
It is. It really is. It really is. It should have been fucking Jack Black, and everybody fucking knows it. Everybody knows it. It would have been perfect. Disney, you really dropped the ball. But seriously, everybody who's complaining about the fucking actress, oh, she's like half Indian and half British, blah, 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 blah. All you motherfuckers were trying to get Disney to cast Bollywood actors as Aladdin. And that was okay. But Jasmine, she can't be half British and half Indian. And quite honestly, she's darker than 3/4 of the Arabic people that are out there.
Exactly, yeah.
So really what these people are pissed off about is that she's some kind of white. If she was all Indian, if she was 100% Indian, I don't think anyone would have a fucking problem with it. She can't be white. She can't have any whiteness in her whatsoever. No. She's not allowed to have any white in her. Well, that sounds kind of sexual too.
I was like, is she not allowed to have any white in her?
No. I mean, I'd give her some white to put into her, but that's a totally different story. But I just feel like when we talk about Mulan, if there isn't outrage from all of the, if there's an outrage from, like, let's say, if they don't cast all of the Chinese characters with Chinese actors and actresses, and they don't cast all of the Huns with Mongolian actors and actresses, if there's not outrage, if that doesn't happen, I'm calling bullshit on all of this.
Yeah.
I call bullshit. Because if that doesn't piss everybody off, if there isn't like somehow randomly a Mongolian acting community that gets pissed off that they cast like Korean people as the Huns, like, I swear to God.
I need to know if like that's a thing, because I secretly want it to be a thing though.
What, like a Mongolian acting community?
Absolutely. Like, we from the Mongolian acting, confederation, community, whatever.
Like, I swear to God, if there is not some sort of outrage, like if they cast Mulan and she's like Japanese, if there isn't fucking outrage by everybody and their fucking mom, I'm gonna lose my shit. If they're like, oh, well, she's Asian, so it's okay, I'm gonna be like, that's fucking bullshit. You made all sorts of... You cried and cried about fucking... about Ghost in the Shell. You cried and cried about fucking Jasmine in Aladdin. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch more. Like
Danny Rand being white.
Danny Rand being white. You cried about fucking an American adaptation of Death Note. Like, you don't seem to care that fucking Willem Dafoe is the goddamn death demon from Japan. That's okay, but God forbid the fucking main character is white, because that would just be cultural appropriation.
Right.
Suck my dick.
But remember, they're okay with it. Kinda, sort of, because Elle is black. Remember.
Well, no, but they're still not okay with it, because Elle is he talks too much, so it's not right for the character. What are they doing? They're ruining the entire anime. But no one seems to give a flying fuck about how Attack on Titan was cast with entirely Japanese actors and actresses, even though it's supposed to be an amalgamation of the entirety of what's left of humanity, considering the main fucking character's name is Eren Yeager.
Pick me.
Yes, to the front.
Okay, alright. So... what about Full Metal Alchemist with names like Führer Bradley and being entirely Japanese cast?
Nobody cares because... Oh, you want to know why? Because it's a Japanese property, so that's okay.
Oh.
It was an anime. It was an anime and a manga before, so it's okay to do that. But if Hollywood did and technically it's not really in... It's in a fictional world. It's not in a real country. It's in a fictional country, so it's totally okay. But if Hollywood did the same fucking thing, people would lose their fucking shit that they were white people.
Absolutely.
I just don't get it.
It's a combination of damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And it's also the idea of, like, I actually had to tell someone earlier today at work where, like, people don't know what they want, so you have to literally tell them what they want. Like, they're gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, you want this?" And they're just gonna fucking. He has it, so I want that.
They're all fucking 1-year-olds. Everybody's a goddamn toddler.
You have no idea what the fuck you want. Like, there's a very few people. Hopefully, a lot of our listeners. Bless your hearts if you are. But a very few people, I feel like we're that type where we get something and we're like, holy shit, that's what I wanted. Like, when the first casting for Christian Bale as Batman came out, everyone was like, Lawrence, what do you think? And I'm like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I have to see the movie.
I have to see him in the cow, see what it looks like.
Just like with everybody's shit in the bed over fucking Doctor Who being a woman. Like,
right.
How do you know it's gonna ruin anything? You haven't even fucking seen her play the Doctor. How do you know? Oh, it's gonna ruin relations with her marriage. How the fuck do you know that woman's not gonna be like, oh, so you're a woman now? Okay. It's still you, right? Yeah, it's still me. I still remember you. I came back as
sure that they I feel like they're forgetting the fact that he or she or it is a time traveling alien species.
It's a fictional alien species
that looks and resembles human culture, the human race. Why am I saying human culture? Looks like human culture, but looks like the human race. So yeah, they'll have our features, but essentially, if it wanted to just be like, so now I'm a girl. Okay, now I have a vagina. But you still look like a guy.
So?
What do you want from me? You
realize I'm not human, right?
Right. I can fucking...
I'm an immortal time-traveling alien that just happens to look like your species. Get the fuck over it.
Right. And
how many times...
I was a Whovian fan, but I feel like if I became one, I'd be like... I would want to smack half the fandom.
Oh, you would. You absolutely would. I do believe there have been several points where whoever becomes the new Doctor, pulls out his hair and is like, oh, not a ginger yet. Or,
I've heard that before.
Or pats their crotch and like, oh, still a man. Oh well.
Yeah, I've heard that they've done that before, and fucking kudos to those writers for doing that. They know what's up. They know, seeing the same thing over and over.
Have you been watching the fucking movie? Have you been watching any of this series? It's it's a time-traveling, immortal alien that regenerates after so many years, and it could be 1 season, it could be 6 seasons. We don't know. That's just how it fucking goes. But the possibility, the Doctor could be a fucking cat for all we know. The Doctor's gonna regenerate.
I want the Doctor to regenerate as a ginger black Irish kid.
Even better, a ginger Scotch Korean.
Yes. Oh,
that is androgynous, so you can't tell if it's a woman or a man.
Are you
Yes, I'm a Time Lord.
Yeah, they always just say yes before they can say, they get asked, are you, yeah. But, yeah.
Or you could always pull and you are the Doctor. What can I do for you? The Doctor has no gender. Zero fucking gender. There is no gender for the Doctor because they're time-traveling aliens that regenerate.
Oh, speaking of doctors who have no genders, I mentioned this to one of my kids at work, and it was, who's to say that Dr. Pepper is a guy? We've always just assumed that he or she may be a guy.
Right.
And then, so he was like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah. Because
how do you know?
He said something to the effect of who's this Dr. Pepper guy, and why does he think what gives him the right to have a doctorate in soda? And I was like, listen, how do you even know he's a guy? And he was like, wait, what? I just saw his 13-year-old head explode.
Yeah, he's like, wait, you're right. We don't know. The only one that we do know that is a guy is Mr. Pibb.
Right.
So maybe maybe Dr. Pepper was a woman and Mr. Pibb just ripped her off.
Or Mr. Pibb is the stay-at-home dad.
It's I can make a soda too, you bitch.
Oh god. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Why don't we make movies about that? Who is Dr. Pepper? Was Dr. Pepper a man or a woman?
You know what's funny? Like I wish I can like show you who my kids are because you would be so fucking blown away by how like intelligent and fucking creative these kids. Like these kids that I work with, I actually can trust my future with. Everyone else are pretty much shitheads, but these particular kids, awesome kids. One of my kids says, yeah, like they're doing another like adaptation or they're doing another sequel, and it's like, why? They're giving us another movie. He basically almost verbatim said everything we've said in almost every episode, like previously, where it was just like, I never asked for this, so why are they giving me this again? Like, no one asked for a reboot of this. No one asked for a sequel. Like, he was like, Hollywood sounds like they're running out of ideas. And I was like, Isaac, give me a hug right now. Like,
how many good books are out there that you could turn into a movie?
Right?
How many good fucking authors out there writing books that you could say, hey, you're good at writing books. Do you want to develop a trilogy for movies with the studio? We can sit down and we can figure it out because you seem to have a really good following, so why don't we do this?
You would think that would be the smart thing to do, unless they're Percy Jackson. I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna make a jar for myself that anytime Lawrence has a gripe about the fucking Percy Jackson franchise, I have to put like $20 in that shit.
Yeah, every time you say something about Percy Jackson, you know what?
I'd be a millionaire by the end of each season.
You know what you need to do? We just need to find one thing that we all talk about. Like, I'm gonna somehow talk about cultural appropriation and casting. Like that's like for the next year, I think we should just keep a jar, all of us. Every time one of us says something about cultural appropriation in casting a movie, it's just like $1 goes in the jar.
I feel like we'd be able to fund like an actual like trip somewhere.
We could totally take a trip somewhere and just do podcasts along the way.
Oh my God. I actually, from right now, let this day, actually this will air next Wednesday, right?
This is going. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We're in the past.
It's gonna air somewhere in the next few days. I'll pop it up on YouTube.
All right. So let's call it July 19th. This day, July 19th. As you guys hear it and we speak it, we must like set up a list of rules in our group chat that we will then convey to you guys of things that we cannot say. For every time we say it, we have to put $1 into a jar. Mm-hmm. And you guys at home can, keep count for us. Follow us. Oh, we have stuff for you guys to follow. We never even mentioned. We got like more than halfway through this podcast, and we haven't even spoken about the new fun stuff. So we have a Facebook page.
Yes, we do.
We have a Twitter, I believe. Do we have a Twitter?
I think it's still under We The Geek, but yeah, we have a Twitter. I'm just going to keep it at where it is already.
All right, so we have that. We have a Instagram.
That is under Geek Ronin, yeah.
We have a website in development.
Yes, we do.
Let me see.
And once that website and everything is finished and we have an RSS feed, you will be able to listen to our stuff the day after we put it out. Or at least the day, it might even be the day that we put it out on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, that type of deal.
I want to set up a Twitch for us so we can all like just have a day where we fucking play games together. Because we all have a PS4. We just need to find one game that.
I'll get GTA 5 if we all just want to run around and be like the geek.
I was gonna say sorry, Danny, that isn't GTA 5. I mean, I don't mind playing GTA 5, but there's not enough for me to be entertained that I'm gonna lose focus and just be like, it's almost too mindless for me.
Well, no, but see, this. If we're gonna Twitch, it's not gonna be fucking going out and doing missions. It's like You, me, and Danny are gonna run around and fuck shit up for an hour.
Yeah, we're gonna do
See how long we can last with 5 stars.
Actually, oh my god. I've actually, like, I haven't done that in so long, but the longest I lasted when I played Vice City. This is, like, taking us back. So I played with my cousin playing Vice City, and this was when, like, we tried to do it 2 ways. We tried to do it just with, like, regular, like, trying to earn 5 stars and not get caught. And then we tried to do it with cheat modes on. So, like, we automatically were like, drop the tank, drop the tank, drop the tank, and just go. It, like, you would think it would last a while if you have a tank. That shit lasts, like, maybe all of, like, minutes. And it was just like, nah. Like, there's nowhere for you to run. There's helicopters everywhere shooting you down. There's barricades everywhere. Like, at one point, I got out of the tank. I remember, like, getting on a bike, I think, and then... like, I just fucking died. Like, just wasted. It wasn't fun or pretty. It was fun. It wasn't pretty, though. It definitely wasn't pretty.
Mm-hmm.
That should definitely be a thing. I'm so down for that. All right, Danny, look at you winning without being on the show right now.
Right.
We might actually get a group GTA going on. He's only been asking us to do it for, like, I don't know, 2 years?
Oh yeah, he's been asking us to play for GTA for the longest time. I'd be down to do a fucking Twitch stream just to fool around with Danny and just kick the shit out of things.
I'm with it. Oh my god, yo, I saw that earlier today, and I was like, Jesus, that's so fucking
so quick. He just goes, whoom.
Yeah. But on the flip side, did you see the little girl watching TV with her, like, pet snake on the couch?
No. Was it, like, stretching out, trying to figure out if it could eat her?
No, it was just chilling. It was like, all right, we're cool. Like, whatever. And that shit was huge. It wasn't like, oh, the little girl's too big for me, but I can make room. It was like, if I wanted to eat you, I could. And I was just like, what? Because I remember, I don't know if it was one of you guys, but somebody was telling me a story about a friend they had who let their pet snake, like, just go to bed with them every night for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yeah, after a while, my snake isn't eating. You know, I would feed him mice, and I don't know what's wrong with it. And took it to the vet, and the vet was like, your snake is laying down with you every night? And it hasn't eaten in how long? Oh, in like 4 or 5 days. And it was like, yeah, it's
gonna
sizing
eat you
up. Yeah, it was like, it's sizing you up. And it was like, what? No. And it was like, no, you cannot have the snake anymore.
Yeah, it got big. Yeah, it got big enough where it was literally like, oh, it's sizing you up. It's gonna try and fucking eat you. Like, you're gonna die.
It's fucking ridiculous. Oh man. Dude, it feels so good to be back. Like, I feel like we haven't really skipped a beat. We missed a lot of things. Oh, speaking of, I can't believe I forgot to mention. How excited are you, before we finish, about the Big Hero 6 series?
I don't know.
We have Big Hero 6, the series coming out, and the new DuckTales, which I'm actually really looking forward to after they drop that them singing trailer.
Oh yeah, especially with David Tennant as fucking Scrooge McDuck.
Absolutely. Like, again, not a Whovian fan, but like, I love David Tennant.
David Tennant's awesome.
He's so fucking.
He's good.
So fucking good. But I feel like
it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be awesome.
I feel like the only thing that, like, they announced that I was like, was that they're doing another Spidey cartoon, which you kind of realize was gonna happen, but like, if you're talking like soon after the last one, there was less time between the last Spider-Man, like, cartoon series and this Spider-Man cartoon series by, like, I want to say not even like a year passed, like a full year passed before they were like, yeah, we're gonna just do that. And I was like, you guys are complaining about the fucking movies and shit. The movies at least had like 3 years or so before the new guy came out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean,
Jesus.
Granted, Disney is its own separate like universe thing for the kids, but it's just a lot going on.
Give it a break, right? Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. Like they're really trying to beat that horse.
Well, it's a cash cow, dude. It's making a fuckload of money. Why are they gonna stop? They're gonna stop when it stops making money.
And it's not. It's not. They're gonna just recast and fucking. I hate the animation style. The animation style is killing me right now for it. But Big Hero 6, definitely looking forward to it. I needed Big Hero 6 like I need the new Incredibles, which finally has a fucking release date.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fucking super. The only thing I'm like upset about with Incredibles is that I'm upset, but like I have enough reason to not be upset. Where like they're picking up right after, so they're only doing like 6 months prior, or 6 months after, or something like that from the last movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I waited fucking 13 years, I think.
Something like that.
I think we waited for Kingdom Hearts 3 and Incredibles 2 for about the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
If we're honest.
Oh, you're being honest. That's right.
And it's like, why just pick it up right after if you're gonna wait that long? Because, like, at this point, kids.
Why did I have to get fucking? Why did we get 3 fucking like 2 Cars sequels and a whole bunch of other shit? Like,
why do we have Finding Dory before we had like the Incredibles?
Well, Finding Nemo came out before the Incredibles, if I remember correctly.
Right, but do we need a Finding Dory?
Not necessarily.
See,
we don't need another Incredibles either.
We didn't need Monsters Inc. Yes, because I feel yes to Incredibles because I feel like that could actually be a universe film. Like that can be an expanded story. Finding Nemo was like its own thing. You know what I mean? Cars was its own thing. You'd be like, all right, that's nice. We got fucking planes. We got fucking fire truck, whatever, rescue.
Yeah, they have they have like boats.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of shit. But it's like that's
like why?
Explaining. Yeah, there's no sense for it. Whereas I feel like Incredibles has actual room for
It has potential.
growth.
It has potential.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Missed opportunity for sure.
For sure. All right. I think that's good for this week.